right, welcome back. So today we are going to work on my Xmaxx. Want to really check out the damage, the preliminary damage of me running full speed into a rock out with bars and tone and G's RC. It looked like maybe just a lower control arm and a pin flew out, but we're going to take a deeper look into it and see if, in fact, if that's the case, and see if I have the parts to fix it. I know I'm missing a pin, so hopefully I do have a pin. God, this thing took an impact. So the hub seems okay. The upper arm so it's looking okay, I think. At least I hope it is. Doesn't seem bent. Well, let's dive into it. I guess we'll get the body off so we can really take a look. So the C-hub doesn't look cracked at all. And I hope I have a pin for this, which I think this pin might work. Basically, on my pins, for you guys, here's my pin collection. I've got low-C pins. I've only got a couple of Traxxas pins, I think, the smaller pins. I got thicker pins. There's basically 3 size pins here out of all these pins, and that's what I use to hopefully repair my RCs. And you know, I really don't know what which ones work, which ones don't work. As far as when it comes to these Traxxas bolts, I nailed these. God, those things are just packed with something. Definitely have to dig out your Allen screws. So the upper, I think, is okay. See, that has a pin going through it. Hopefully the pins I have are long enough. See, I think I do. We'll find out here. Take the screws out. I'm going to have to take this upper arm off. Shock pin seems to be okay. The steering arm's still okay. So I did crack this inner support for this front bumper carrier. But we're gonna plastic weld that piece back on because it's just the little crossover, I think, just to connect the upper two. But that really gave a lot of support. I might even, I know I have a bumper. Looks like it's pushed back pretty far. I don't know if I have a broken bulkhead or anything. We're going to check that. So this is my built-up Xmaxx, because I have the added braces in here, the aluminum braces. So this one should have the front aluminum diff cover. So since we're going to pull the front apart, I'm going to stick the diff cover back on. Yeah. Didn't crack a rim. It is starting to pull out right in here. We're going to re-glue that right there. You can see the crack forming. That little split right there will keep growing, so we'll glue that split, and that's what I'm saying. Check your tires. Look at that one. See, that whole section right there is pulling out. And if you don't catch it now, what'll happen is it'll grow, and then it'll rip the tire into a flap. And when that happens, you can't save the tire. Right now I can save the tire. If you guys have bought Xmaxx tires, you know they are not cheap. To take off this front bumper, I probably could have did it from up there instead of down here. But I'm going to just flip it up like that. This thing is so big. I don't see any cracks on the bulkhead at this point. Get that shock out of here. This control arm, it didn't break off, but it split out enough so that the pin bent and popped out. So we're going to pull this off. Make sure I take these little screws off. I always forget them on the old control arms. Hopefully I have a stock used arm that I can put in place. I really don't want to use. I do have the upgraded white Traxxas upgraded arms, but I actually bought those for my other Xmaxx. So we'll take a look at this. So I could probably plastic weld that, but that's how it split apart and the pin went flying out and we never found the pin. So let me see if I have a used arm. There we go. A brand used arm. These arms were basically the ones that I pulled off of the orange Xmaxx, and I kept the good ones. So rather than, I do have brand new upgraded white ones. These are the more flexible ones. I'd rather put a stock arm on it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. That's much better using a stock arm. I mean, for me anyway. I save all my old parts. When I upgraded that other Xmaxx, I saved all the good arms, and I think this is the last good lower arm. No, I have one more, which is the opposite side. So I had a pair of factory arms, and then I do have some upper arms, and I do have a bearing carrier that's good. And it's a left side, which is this side. But we have the aluminum ones we put on this. We actually put them on both RCs. Oh, this has got a bolt in it. I tend to put the hardware back when I change stuff. Make sure the back one's on. There we go. And that's what I love about an Xmaxx. Really easy to work on. You guys, I mean, if you guys didn't see the video, go check it out with Bars and Tone and G's RC. I slammed that rock pretty darn hard. And for this thing to survive, you can't put it past it. So, this thing, that's the pin I found. Hopefully it's the right length. That goes all the way through. I think we're in business. There we go. We are set. That's awesome. I am going to get my loci in here as well. I got a hub bearing or a bearing carrier on the front of my loci, the DBX LE, that's broken, and I've got to get that thing fixed too. I truly hate having broken RCs. It's my biggest pet peeve is when I break something to get it fixed, like right away, or as soon as parts are available. Right away isn't always feasible. But if I have the parts, gotta get in, gotta look at it, make sure everything everything I have. This is too long. This takes a short bolt. There we go. Look at that. I can't believe these bearing carriers held up. If that was an RPM one, that would have broke this C-hub and the bearing carrier would have been all trashed. Shout out to RPM for not warranting the part. God, the steering servo saver feels funny. Feels like something's jamming up with my steering. I have to get the remote on there. But that's going to fix the wheel part of it. Now I'm going to get the diff in there. Or not the diff cover from Hot Racing. We're going to get that in next. So I'll be right back. All right, so we got that fixed. Now I'm going to pop on my diff case. I popped this off and put the stock one on. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but I was getting a funny diff noise with this RC. And it turned out to be, I thought it was, because it happened right after I put this Hot Racing diff covers on this RC. And it turned out to be, it was, what was it? It was a bent drive shaft, the center drive shaft. It was binding, and so I had to take out the drive shaft. I didn't have to straighten it. It wasn't bent that way. At the end, it was flared and it was rattling, and it was making like loose bearings or like an arm of spur and pinion gear, like that rattling noise all the time with this thing. And Traxxas don't make those noises. So I went ahead and figured out what it was. And I never put the diff case back on. I actually was just never in here again. So I thought maybe it had to be shimmed, or I don't know what I was thinking, but I started reversing everything that I did until I found the problem. I took out that front diff several times and I could never see a problem. And then I finally found it. It was where the drive shaft, it's kind of spline where it slips into the pinion for the ring and pinion on the diff, and it was rattling. I think that's all the bolts. I'm gonna throw a little red grease. I'll throw a little grease on this ring gear. So 4 longer screws, 1 short screw. I almost put this diff cover on before I went out and did that head first thing into that rock. I'm kind of glad I didn't, even though I think it would have survived with this front bumper. I am going to order a front bumper now, and just so I have one in stock. I know I have one for my Max, but I don't have one for this one. Oh, I almost dropped that in there. Thought it would stay on this. There we go. Xmaxx is all put back together, ready for its next big bash. So I'm gonna go grab my Losi and we'll see what's going on with that one. Be right back. All right, so here's the Losi. I'll show you what's going on with this one and why Hot Racing basically really upset me. And this is why I hate people making parts and then discontinuing them. So I had bought these hot racing hubs. Oh, I'm out of breath. But they had these replaceable carbon fiber links. And this one snapped. So I was like, oh, no big deal. I'll just order up a set of these links. They were $7 or $14 versus the $60 or $100 that these things were. Can't remember what the price of them was. But then, as soon as I snapped it, I found that, well, RC Guy Garage, I've been looking for them and nobody had them. And Hot Racing said back ordered. And then, so we kept checking. We always were looking. They were never available. RC Guy Garage had called them and they said, oh no, we discontinued those things. So they were still selling this part, which I could buy again. But the whole purpose of me doing this was to be able to replace these when I snapped them. So I'm not getting into that. And I originally broke, I think, this side because I had hit a pole and broke a control arm and shock rod end and sway bar end link. I broke a few things, a pin, a front thing here. Like, I caused $350 worth of damage on this thing. You know what? I think it was this side. So I might have this side in plastic. Let me see if I have this side, because I have the takeoffs. My low C parts bin, basically. So I had to buy a bag of these. I had to buy a bunch of control arms that I didn't need, which are for these. Here's my alignment tool, the height gauge for adjusting shocks. I had to buy this whole kit to get one of these links right here. That was ridiculous. Here's the upper link that I snapped, or the steering. This was a steering link. So I snapped the inner of it, and you had to buy the whole link kit. So I keep that. Yeah, so I bought these. So spindle carriers, hubs, 1/5 4-wheel drive DBXL. So that's what I'm gonna repair this thing with. So that's gonna end this video. I'm gonna do this repair off camera. I already have a video showing how to take off the stock ones and how to put this on. This video is gonna get too long if I continue to do a repair on 2 RCs. The videos just get too long. So there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.